Hey there, in YouTube land. So I just finished watching my first Criterion on Hulu Plus, and that is The Blob. I haven't seen The Blob since I was about like 11 or 12 years old, so it was really cool to watch it again. The Blob starts out with kind of a really cool, uh, unusual, like for a horror movie, suspense movie, monster movie type of song. It's got this kind of song that's actually credited to the Five Blobs. Actually, that's the group that sings it. But the guy that wrote the song, actually, the song here is co-written by Burt Bacharach, actual famous singer and songwriter. So know that when you go in and you watch this one here, this is spine number 91, which you'll see on the review when you look at it up there. And what did I think of the Blob after seeing it for all this time? Well, I got to be honest with you. I did not expect to I expected it to be kind of cheesy, just have be a little bit of fun, and it was the effects are very much of its time. So you know that going in, you don't go in expecting like the effects of today, or honestly, for some ways you can't expect the effects of today if you watch a lot of Asylum films. But that does have some cheesy effects, but it does have some really good effects. There are some very good practical effects as well. The Blob in the early scenes, pretty much they're done by like a small, like a weather balloon. But when you see the Blob get bigger, it's kind of like a silicone gel type base. And as the Blob actually eats more people, you'll notice the colorization of the Blob will become redder, and it'll slowly become darker redder. That's because he wanted to, even back then, he wanted to have like this thing where Blob was like more of a gelatinous, like kind of a, almost like, he seems like kind of black, and he seems kind of clear, kind of like almost like a clear to the point of like where there's an opaque type of blackness to him. But what happens, you'll see when it stretches out, it's kind of a clear, and as more people are eating, you see more red come into the Blob, and it's a subtle thing that's done in the film, but it's really well done. Um, a little bit of trivia is that in the theater itself, that's showing like kind of a horror movie there. That movie is Daughter of Darkness, and apparently they put in like some narration, and it was by Ed McMahon actually. If you're a No Tonight Show from back in the day, uh, the Blob starred Stephen Queen, and the actress I can't remember her name now, Anita something. Anyway, it was her first. It was her first role. She was really good in this film. What I really liked about the Blob, aside from it's a really cool type of monster film, is the way that it portrayed the people. This could have been just your average one-dimensional monster movie with like stock characters. The teen will be there, and there'd be like the one nice teen, and then there'd be the other teens would show up. And they do this at the beginning of the movie. They have the other teens show up, and they talk about like a drag race type of thing. And then you kind of think that they're going to go into like an almost like, we get that one teen, then there's that other teen that portrays the other side of teenagers, like the bad side. But it doesn't go that way. It actually layers it a bit. And as the characters each like have like be more multi-layered than that. There's the other teen, kind of like the who would normally be, I guess, the rival teen, is not the rival teen. Actually, they're just they're teenagers, and they're doing teenage stuff the way teenagers actually did, at least in my day anyway. Uh, the adults, some of them that don't believe them, but there's actually reasons behind it. They're not just grumpy adults. They're not just, they're from a different generation. They don't understand. No, the cop that really doesn't understand, it's mentioned, there's a line that's actually put into the film that mentions that his wife was hit by drag racers, which is one of the reasons that he has this like kind of like thing against teenagers. And then it talks about the fact that he was in the war, and he says he thinks that the war that they used in the war record like is using it against them. So it goes on like the way that people thought about people after the war, about veterans after the war, and that post-traumatic stress syndrome. I know that's a lot to take it a few small lines, but it's well placed and it's well done, so that you can actually, if you're watching the movie and you're listening to the dialogue, you actually get that. So it doesn't take a lot. I mean, you don't have to beat us over the head with it, but they just like put in some small lines here and there that really actually lets you understand the way it's going. There's even a scene near the end where the principal has to break into the school and to help out the people. So he grabs a rock, and it's like, and he stops for a second because he knows he's got to do that one thing that his entire life, he's the principal. This is what you don't do. Like he's taught the kids this, and he has to do this. He has to go against what his like basically ideal is, and because this is his place in the community. This is who he is, and this is what he's showing. And here are the teenagers around. He's telling him not to do this, and it's come to the point where he has to do this. And it's really cool. We actually see a town that comes together rather than the uglier side of like humanity that they would show for a lot of later films. So basically, it showed there would be like the nasty person and the person that's trying to get control and all this kind of crap stuff. This one, it's a very much the generations, the town all come together to help out rather than go apart. There's no real, they don't like the rift, but the actual, you realize on the actual emergency stuff that people do come together, people band together. There's a huge side of humanity that doesn't get shown in movies a lot. We like to show the bad stuff, especially nowadays, but we don't show the part when shit happens, when serious shit goes down. As a race, we can actually be very, very, very positive and very, very. It doesn't matter. So all of a sudden, when crap happens, if the place goes on fire down the road or something like that, or something happens down there, it doesn't matter your race, your religion, or anything like that. You're a community. You band together. That's the way that it works. That's the way that society. That's how I see society. That's my view, and I like the fact that it goes with that here, and it doesn't seem like a naive aspect or that part of it. It shows what happens at the moment, because you don't think, you all of a sudden color and race and age and it doesn't matter. Like you get over your prejudice because you have to. It's something that you do. That's just a part of the movie that I really enjoyed. I really loved it. The movie itself was fun. It was well structured. It was actually really suspenseful, especially for there was some very cheesy scenes and stuff like that done. I like the fact that we actually Steve McQueen's character actually gets in there. He's kind of like he's the teenager. He takes things a little more seriously than some of the other teenagers around his age, and they mention that, and it becomes more important near the end, because he realizes, and his girlfriend actually started to realize, that they've had to, over this experience, that as much as they take things seriously, they had to grow up really fast, to the point where they have to maybe face the fact that they could die, and people around them that they love could die, and they have to be the people that actually has the strength to keep other people together. There's a sequence towards the end, and I don't want to give away all the movie or anything like that. I know most people have seen the Blob, but just in case you haven't, where there's the little boy, the brother of the lead actress, and he's in danger, but they're trying to keep him calm, and he does. And the kid is a great actor. He does a great job, really cute, and he never comes across as forcibly cute or anything like that. He just does a really good job in the role. The Blob itself is really well done when you're doing the practical effects. And there are some cheesy stuff. You are going to notice some model effects. You are going to notice some animation stuff, especially near the end. And you can't help that. It's the time it was done in. It's the effects that they had at the time. But the story itself is completely solid. And I can see exactly why Criterion would have the Blob among its collection. Not for 1 second do I have to wonder, as I'm watching this movie, why is this a Criterion film? There's so many monster movies. Why is the Blob a Criterion film? Because it's so well done. People are so well structured. The acting is well done. The writing is well done. The effects for its time are actually pretty cool, especially the practical effects. There's some really suspenseful scenes. There's a scene in the doctor's office near the beginning part of the film with the nurse. And there's basically a scene, the Blob. We first get the real good glimpse of the Blob as it becomes this kind of gelatinous, menacing creature. And she's going back, and she throws this acid at the Blob, and it's tricylimetic acid, I think, which is used for genital warts. Actually, it's one of the big uses for that type of acid. I'm pretty sure. But so it doesn't do anything, but they're hoping that it'll solve it or something like that, because they don't know exactly what this is. This thing has just come out of nowhere, and it's basically eating this old man, and we see the doctor go to get a gun to shoot at it, and basically he's going for the shots. And we see her, and she goes backwards. She's trying to get away. We see her knock over this lamp, and it goes dark, and he's trying to turn the light on. It's dark in there. We hear the screams, and then we don't see anything. We kind of see part of the Blob. It's just really well constructed. It's really suspenseful, well done scene. There's a really good scene done at a supermarket as well. That kind of brings things to a head. And the characters, the character Dave, the police officer, I think he was the chief of police, is extremely well put together. He's not like the normal, oh, I don't believe you kids type of thing. He doubts the kids, but he's never portrayed as a normal an asshole police officer. There's one kind of jerky police officer, and like I mentioned earlier, there's a reason for it there. The structure of the film is really well done. I love the characters. The teenagers were all likable. I'm not sure who played the friend of Steve McQueen, so kind of like the leader of the other gang of guys, but he really was a likable actor. I think I'd say almost everybody, and so even the kind of like the, I guess the more the ones that went up against him more, they were never really unlikable to the point where like, oh, I want to see this person. There was they maintained the suspense of this movie by doing something that right, and I think this is what the DVD wants to talk about movies and stuff that's done wrong now. And here's one thing that I can think about that is done now. A lot of times we get cookie cutter characters where basically there's an asshole character that you want to see die, and there's the slutty character, and there's the nice character, and you know who's going to live and you know who's going to die because the characters are structured in a way of basically, okay, this person, sex equals death and all this type of stuff. In this one here, the characters, even like the not as nice characters at the beginning, are actually nice. They're nicer, well-rounded. So you do get kind of invested in all the characters. You don't want to see anyone in this movie die. There's no one that you want to see killed, and the people that do get killed, that you do see, like the doctor and stuff like that, you kind of feel sad because the doctor was actually a nice character who's helping them right from the beginning. And that's a bit of a spoiler there, I guess, but the doctor dies early on, so just so you know that. And that's the thing. There's bunches of characters that you can't get into, but some of that we do get to meet all these characters, and they're characters that have something, even if you don't know a lot about them. They're likable enough that you don't want to see the characters die. So you have an investment in the film going in and going all the way through, which you don't have for a lot of like movies, a lot of the later slasher films, a lot of the and even some of the monster movies around this time just didn't have that aspect of like really letting you invest in the characters and actually giving you enough about them. And basically, they didn't have to hit you over the head with it. There'd be like throwaway lines here or there that would explain stuff without having to go into it. We did not need a huge scene of Burke having like some broken down like post-traumatic stress thing. It's just a couple lines here in the film, scripted well, that just put it all together. So for me right now, The Blob is an amazing film. I loved it. It's one that I will buy on Criterion. It's fantastic, and I think it's on DVD. It's on Blu-ray. I think it's on Blu-ray with Criterion as well. Let me just check here. Actually, I did bring it up so I could write down the spine number when I did the review. On one of these, I think I did. Maybe I did. No, I did, actually. So, it is... It's on Blu-ray. The Blob will be one that is definitely a part of my collection. It is spine number 91, and down the road, maybe the next Criterion sale, this is one that I'm going to be looking towards getting. So November, maybe I'll get the Blob. It's a good time to get it because it can't attack me then, because, well, I can't tell you because I know the Blob's weakness. Now, there would be a sequel to the Blob, and it would not be half as good. The sequel was actually done by Larry Hagman, who you guys know as J.R. Ewing, or if you're a little older, maybe you know him from the I Dream of Jeannie series. Now, he got the rights to it, so he made a sequel. The sequel is pretty darn awful, but it's cheesy fun nonetheless. I like to own it. It's not something I see Criterion putting out. There was a 1980, I think 88 remake of The Blob that starred Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith, and that was incredible. That was more along the creepy sense of the manner. And I remember this movie, but I did not remember this as being a creepy film. But you know what? It was really creepy. The suspense was out on. The acting was good. The script overall was really, really solid. The effects were good for their time. Some of the practical effects were still kind of creeping me out a bit. Maybe I'm easily creeped out with the monster type stuff. But there's some pretty cheesy stuff near the end with the animation towards the Blob. Guys, thanks again for watching. I really love this Criterion film today, and it was good to come on here. Hulu Plus, I'm serious, guys, has a lot of great Criterion, so check it out. For me right now, I say hello to the great Pin Lord in the sky, the Phantom, his buddy, the creature from the Black Lagoon. And before I say anything else, I'm going to ask my better half what she thought of the film. Thumbs up, okay, so her in-depth analysis is thumbs up.
No, it's nice. I liked it a lot.
You gotta put you on the spot?
I don't know, I've been thinking about it.
Okay, I put her on the spot a bit. So maybe for the next review, I'll let her know when we're doing stuff like this. It
reflected the era. I agree with what you said, but to a certain extent, it really has that squeaky clean.
You think it's too squeaky clean?
Well, all the movies of that time. That's what was being advertised.
But not so much though, because a lot of the movies at the time, unfortunately, teenagers were the bad people. I mean, like there was like the whole generation of like there was the squeaky clean teenager, but there's also the movies like the rebel teenagers, like the bad teenagers,
Yeah,
the
but
bad girl
like,
movies.
remember those videos that you watch with the kids about,
Oh,
you
no,
know,
oh
what do
yeah,
you call them?
those safety videos and those
Yes,
classroom
well,
video
it
stuff like
had
that. Yeah,
it
those
had
are
a little
hilarious.
bit of that. Now it was entertaining by all means, but I just felt that this is a movie that was targeted for an audience of the era that was advertising a very clean horror, under quotation, horror. Like,
Yeah,
they were even making fun of, like, or showing midnight movie
or
monster
people
movies.
laughing at it and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so I think it was, a little piece of propaganda also of the era.
I thought it was good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really loved it. But I think, that there was some, I think there definitely was a hidden agenda.
I don't think it's an agenda so much. It's like just.
Well, it's just, something that was catered, for those pesky kids, to watch these movies and see that this is the way teenagers should behave.
And they're not wrong, actually. This is what teenagers should be. Just saying, it is.
It is, but that's the thing. So I do enjoy it. I do agree with you, but I did feel that there was it was a little too clean.
You know what I really liked, and this actually, I'm glad you said that actually, because there's a scene in the theater, and I really should mention this. Oh, that you actually mentioned is that they're watching the movie, the horror movie, and they're laughing, and what they don't realize that the Blob is actually coming into the theater at the time, and I actually found that a really nice juxtaposition, and actually really creepy. They're laughing at the horror on the screen and not realizing the horror that's in reality that's facing them, and that's
Maybe there's
actually
more
saying
to it.
something. But yeah, there's a little. I think there's a little bit more to there's a little more subtext to the film than you realize when you watch it. This is a movie, obviously a movie that does have rewatchability, and really seriously the way that's done, the editing, the writing, just definitely give it a chance. And it's a more than a one watch movie. There's much more. You can have fun with this as a monster movie, like my better half did. And I read a lot into films. Maybe I read too much sometimes, but I read, and I do have a very positive overall personality, I think.
And I don't.
Yeah, I never said that.
No, but maybe this is the way it is. It
See,
makes, it speaks to
in different
our
ways.
personalities. I see too clean,
And I,
trust, and you see trust.
I'm a trust guy. That is. Let's say some of my flaws. I'm way too happy, bright, Bobby type of person. That's what I am. But I did enjoy the movie, and I really seriously recommend it. So if you're getting
It's
the Criterion,
also very short. Not that I just felt that it was very quick.
I think that was good though. I think that's
It's perfect. That
yeah.
was perfect length, but it did. That's
It
why
just-
it,
it went
it's
to-
not a long commitment.
let's just see how long the movie actually ran, so we can actually see. So the movie actually has a runtime of 82 minutes, which actually is fairly good. I think that's for me. I think the 80 to 90, 80 mark is like a perfect. It's like a sweet spot for films. And one of the things that I find wrong with a lot of films nowadays is that I think they're overly long. That we have to see, you have to show us everything. And there's certain films that she like. I'm not even going to mention them at this point that overly show everything to the point where I'm surprised we don't see people going to the washroom. But I did like that. I do like that era, and I do like that time. That time amount for a film, 80 to 90 minutes, is a perfect sweet spot just to watch a really nice movie. This one runs 82 minutes around, so it's a fantastic film. I can see my hair is getting continually messier as I'm going through it. So I'm gonna go now, and I was just snuggling with my better half while we watch the movie. So messy hair. Anyway, time for tea for me. It's been 20 minutes. I think you're still at your tea that I just got you from last time, right? So she has this tea that she likes, kind of a cleanse, it's called, and it's like this really nice tea. It comes in like the Tetley round. I'm just gonna go for a normal basic English tea. I buy like imported. Yeah, that doesn't sound obnoxious at all, or a little pretentious. But